Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the BOOM. My name is Cam G, your host. As always, the man to the right of me, that is my co-host at this time, Phil Kahn, and the man at the bottom of your screen, my co-host slash producer, Metal Core Mike. Gentlemen, we are joined here once again for another AEW Dynamite. This was the Fallout 2 Dynasty, and of course, AEW Spring Break Through. But before I get into that, how is your Wednesday evening going?
I was having a good day today. I was having a pretty damn good day today.
Past tense.
You have no clue how hard I'm holding back right now. Like, I'm holding back right now. Because Sunday night, and Cam, we watched together on Sunday night, and it was such a good show. And you pointed out the obvious of one thing is they didn't over-excess us with false finishes. They didn't over-excess us with blood. Like, when it came to that stuff, it was a perfect show on Sunday night. But then when it came to some other things, it was like, okay, I guess I get it. But they had a lot of good action on Sunday night. A lot of good action. Not a bad show. And then we get to tonight. What the fuck happened in the past 72 hours that we had to get to where we're at tonight?
WrestleMania week is my best guess. They want to try to steal the headline. Yeah. So
it's gonna be a big headline for like 24 hours.
I don't know. I don't know.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I do.
We've had this conversation over and over again. WWE is, they're up here. No one is going to overexceed it. No matter how bad WWE does, no matter how much WWE pisses us off with ticket prices and the shit that they do, nobody is going to overcome them. So I get it. You're trying to steal a headline. For what, 24 hours? To do what you did tonight? And don't get me wrong, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I wouldn't have gotten the tattoo that I have on my hand if I wasn't a fan. Plus, I love the saying, and it means something to me personally as well. But just for a 24-hour headline? It's WrestleMania week. What do you really think your headline is going to overcome anything that comes out of WWE this week?
Zero.
Not at all.
So I'm going to save it for when we get into it because I have a lot to say, and I don't want to say it now because I'll ruin the whole trajectory of our show here tonight just by going off. So I'm going to do my best to hold back as much as I can until we get to that point.
Phil, I would assume your thoughts are similar.
They're similar, but it doesn't shock me. It doesn't shock me that we're here tonight. That we're here in this position, that we're here talking about it in the way that we're talking about it right now. It just simply doesn't shock me. They did this for the shock and all. And of course, like Mike, I'm not going to talk about it much more until we get to that point because, like you said, I don't want to ruin the flow of everything. But they just did it for the shock and all. And once that shock and all is weared off, is it going to be worth it in the end? We'll talk more.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Definitely talk.
Honestly, is it gonna be worth it in the end? We'll talk.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. But
I don't either. I don't either. I legitimately think that they backed themselves into a corner in this instant. I do.
Is the biggest corner they've ever backed themselves into.
Why tonight?
The biggest corner.
Because they were in Washington.
Hometown, schmotown. I don't give a fuck.
Hold on. Hold on. You don't give a fuck. Never mind. We'll talk more. You don't give. You just said hometown lord. You don't give a fuck.
I don't give a shit about the hometown part of anything.
Okay.
I don't. I care about destinations and big moments for that. Okay? You should have been on a way bigger stage than just an episode of Dynamite and Spring Breakthrough. Who gives a shit? We'll talk.
We will.
Gentlemen, I mean, I don't know. I'm at a loss, really. I'm at a loss for words, really. But we will get into AEW Dynamite tonight. Spring Breakthrough. So MJF arrives, of course, to the arena. Renee is trying to catch up with him. She's still trying. If you saw what happened on social media after AEW Dynasty this past Sunday, she's still trying to tell him about this impromptu match after Darby Allin beat Andrade to become the number one contender for tonight. And he just wasn't listening. He didn't listen on Sunday night, and he wasn't listening then, or tonight. And then of course we see Don Callis, and their whole partnership basically dissolved before our very eyes. Where Don Callis is telling MJF that Andrade didn't get the job done. Andrade did not beat Darby Allin. So MJF then tells Don Callis that Andrade is not going to be championship material. So he owes him some sort of favor. Yada yada yada. So, and then of course Renee's just like, Max, just listen. Would you just listen? And then she tells him about this match tonight. And then of course now we get into the Darby Allin coming out. He makes his entrance. MJF makes his entrance. He's like, nope. Cut the music. We're not doing this. We're not doing some impromptu world title match that I just found out about 3 seconds ago. So, and I kind of figured this match would either start the show or this match would main event. So either or. And of course, eventually, we see Bryan Danielson. He eventually makes an announcement. He got word from Tony Khan that this match will take place in Everett, Washington for Spring Breakthrough tonight in the main event. Gentlemen, if you have any thoughts on just the opening segment with Darby Allin and MJF, Phil, I'm start with you.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they were kind of like selling the whole point of MJF going dark for the 3 days after he retained the World Championship and all that, that was going to be kind of like a key factor heading into tonight and the whole World Championship implications and the match. And I love the way that Max kind of sold everything, because obviously Max is just great at what he does. He was just completely flabbergasted that he has to defend the world title. At that point in time, it was going to be right then and there, but obviously we had it in the main event, so it was fine for what that was. I like hearing Renee Paquette finally have like some bass in her voice and actually say, look, at the end of the day, you're defending your world championship. Like, Max, listen to me, for God's sakes. But overall, it was just a solid way to open things up until we finally got to what happened in the ring. So I didn't mind it.
So I got a little excited when this segment first started, because again, they were selling the whole going off the grid, turning off the phone, going dark. And I had mentioned to you, Cam, over the weekend after Dynasty that what if they sold this? What if they would have went the route of Max turns off his phone, goes dark, doesn't show up on the internet, and he doesn't even show up Wednesday night, and they prolong this? What if? Now, I know a lot of people wouldn't have liked the storyline like that. Some people may have liked the storyline like that, but they had an opportunity to build a little something. A slight opportunity to build a little something. Instead, it was Max showed up and he just found out that he was defending his world title. And the match was supposed to happen in the open of the show. Then it gets moved to the main event. I got excited for a minute again when they started this, but then when we get to the end of the promo, I'm like, okay, yep, we're getting it tonight. So it is what it is.
We go to a video package of sorts with Kenny Omega talking to Will Ospreay after their respective matches and losses. Kenny Omega taking on MJF for the world title, lost. Will Ospreay taking on Moxley for the Continental Championship. He also lost as well. So they were like in the trainer's room talking to each other and whatnot have you. This was a neat little segment. They don't really do things like this very often. Usually with Dynasty, it's kind of just like post-match promos and things like that. We don't really see like almost felt like an impromptu kind of segment between these two. So I definitely liked it. Again, they have a lot of history, a lot of rich history. They still have probably one of my favorite matches, probably in AEW history, against each other as well. The way Kenny Omega was talking, it pretty much kind of sounded like he's just kind of like at the end of his rope, or at the end of his road with AEW, or he's nearing it. He's almost just kind of like giving up chasing the world championship, or just kind of just giving up in general, and everything he's been through with diverticulitis and things of that nature, and injuries and surgeries and things like that, trying to combat that and be, present in AEW. And like I said, and then Will Ospreay, on the other hand, was the one, basically providing him with, words of encouragement, and, saying he's still Kenny Omega. He still has battled back, and he was in attendance in 2017 when he battled back and he fought Okada. So yeah, it just sounded a lot like Kenny was just kind of like or he's nearing the end of his road. It sounds like. I don't think he's done necessarily chasing the world title. He's probably going to try again. I don't know when. I think Kenny goes away again for a little while. I talked about this before with his sort of like part-time-ish kind of schedule. So I think he goes away for a little while, and then I think he comes back. I don't know if he wrestles at Double or Nothing or not. Probably not. Is my best guess. But I definitely think he chases the world title again. And then, of course, Will Ospreay also alluded to the fact, or the idea, that his aspirations are to one day win the AEW World Championship. Now, I'm not saying anything. Again, like I said, this isn't my company. I'm not the one with the patent pen. I'm not the one making these decisions. But I feel like that is the little tidbit. It's very subtle, but it's the little tidbit that I think he is going to chase the world title. When? I don't know. Could it be Double or Nothing? I don't know. I have no idea. But I think he's definitely going to chase the world title at some point. And I think that's just the subtle hint, Now I'm skipping ahead here, but Marina Shafir was out there watching at ringside his match with Hachicero. I don't know what's going on there. Probably because my best guess is he's not done with the Death Riders, and more importantly, he's not done with Jon Moxley. Does he need the Continental Championship? No. Honestly, neither does Moxley, but that title is probably best served with Moxley, because look at the quality of opponents he's had in his last 2 to 3 defenses.
Yeah.
He's defended against Takeshita, where he probably should have lost there. He's defended against Will Ospreay now. So it's just like, who's next? Like, he's had all these really high quality, well, immediately who's next is Nick Wayne. That's random, but he's had all these high quality, named opponents for these title defenses. So I think maybe that title is not going anywhere anytime soon. So I really don't see it feeling any more important than it is right now on Will Ospreay than it is right now with Jon Moxley. So that's just my take on that. But your guys' thoughts on just the Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay backstage post Dynasty. Mike, I'm starting with you.
So first off, being the football fan that I am, I see in the chat talking about the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders are in DC on the East Coast. They were in the West Coast in Washington State tonight, where the Seattle Seahawks are. So just the football fan that I am, gotta kind of point that out. But anyways, here's the thing: is number one, what Will Ospreay said tonight. He has aspirations of winning the world title in the future. I don't think he's going after it anytime soon. I don't think he's going after it before summertime or even All In. I think sometime in the future, meaning later on this year or in 2027. We had 4 guys tonight, number one, mention the World Championship. 4 guys. And it's been happening on every show since the dawn of time of AEW, where we have many guys mentioned going after the World Championship. As far as Ospreay and the Death Riders, I have a feeling that Ospreay may not be done with Jon Moxley because he wants to get his revenge. You can tell he wants to get that back after losing on Sunday. But it starts off tonight with Marina going out there and checking on Ospreay and reporting back to Moxley and saying, this is what he looked like. It looked rough out there for him. So it's like they're keeping an eye on him and making sure that this is over. But Ospreay, I don't think is going to let it go. As far as Kenny Omega, I could see him going for the world title one more time at Double or Nothing. I could see him getting a shot at it, but to be continued on that comment because we're not there yet. I want to mention World Championship, but we're not there yet. So to be continued on my Kenny Omega comment.
Phil?
I think it was a very interesting conversation that they had with each other. With what Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, what they're trying to strive to do with the World Championship in their grasps, in their sights, for whatever their future is ultimately going to be looking like. It'll be very interesting to see where they are within the next couple of months. Kenny Omega, I do believe, will absolutely be in world title contention once again. We all know where I want him, where I want Will Ospreay to be, and where I want things to happen. But with everything that's going to be happening with these two and these two men's future with that world title implication, my immediate instinct think of the Owen Hart tournament. But of course, if that were to be the case, Kenny Omega would have to be somewhat regular. And I just don't think that'll ultimately be the case. So we'll see. But I absolutely expect these two to be surrounding that world title regardless of, where anything takes place. I can even see Kenny possibly win the world championship at some point, maybe at the end of 2026, maybe at the start of 2027. So we'll see. But I mean, my heart right now just thinks Owen Hart tournament, and we'll maybe see where any of those two can lie after that.
We'll definitely have to find out. Our first match we got was Tommaso Ciampa versus Desmond Xavier. It was a decent match. I don't really have much on this, honestly. It's good to see Tommaso Ciampa back on Dynamite and not having to hear about him on Collision. So hopefully that's a push in the right direction. After the match, after Tommaso Ciampa wins this match, he claims that he wants the world championship, whether it be Darby Allin or whether it be MJF. He is chasing the AEW World Championship. So very interesting there. If I had to guess, based off of what we saw tonight, I would say that it's probably going to end up being Tommaso Ciampa versus Darby Allin to give Darby Allin a one-off defense for the sake of a defense. If I had to guess, get you guys' thoughts on this match. Mike, I'm start with you.
I didn't see the Ciampa match.
You didn't miss much. Phil,
I didn't see it.
It was a solid match for what it was. This realistically was just to kind of get a Tommaso Ciampa win on an episode of Dynamite instead of an episode of Collision. I like what Desmond Xavier, excuse me, I was gonna say David. I like what Desmond Xavier was doing in that ring with Tommaso. I think they worked together well, but at the end of the day, this was just a match to have a match, and Tommaso got the win. Nothing more, nothing less, realistically. But I do like that he kind of set his sights on the world title. Do I obviously expect anything out of it? No. But I like that he at least kind of looked into that world title picture, because I personally believe that he is, like, in just the grand scheme of things, I'm not saying in AEW, okay? Because obviously there are just way too many people in this company to even put the championship on Tommaso Ciampa of all people, but the man was a amazing NXT champion at the time. So when it came down to a world championship, the guy can go and the guy can hold his own as a world champion in any company, but not AEW. It's not going to happen.
I agree. I mean, he did have a fantastic NXT championship run once upon a time. An AEW World Championship run in AEW, I just don't see it happening.
I'd love to see it, but it won't happen.
It'd be interesting. It'd be something different. I think it would be risky. I think it'd be them taking risk and them doing something different outside of Swerve and Hangman, and it'd be something different. I definitely agree with that. So
yeah.
Next we saw a Darby Allin hype video package. Most of this show was centered around Darby Allin, and in the main event, they might as well have just called this show the Darby Allin Homecoming Show, because nothing really resembled Spring Breakthrough or anything like that.
Everybody talking about the world title match, everybody talking about Darby Allin and just like his shot. Like it was just shoehorning the fact that we were going to get to where we are tonight.
Yeah. So nothing really Spring Breakthrough about it.
And then Sting of all people too, forget about it.
Yeah. Once Sting showed up, it was pretty much a done deal. So a pretty decent video package. I like the video package. I mean, to say the least, decent video package put together there of just everything he's been through, pretty much in AEW, all the jumping off ladders and climbing Mount Everest and everything like that he's been through so far.
He's killed himself for this company,
and he's quote unquote killed himself for this company to get to tonight and to get to tonight's main event. So pretty good Darby Allin video package there. FTR came out for a really useless, pointless. I don't even have many other words to describe this promo from FTR. It was really, again, this is another thing that really drove home the whole Darby Allin thing. Dax was talking about the fact that these people, they love the underdog. Of course, quote unquote, we already know who he's talking about, and that would be Darby Allin. I mean, the whole underdog thing was like the word of the day, I think, for this entire show. So we already know who he was talking about. I skimmed through the rest of this. This was just pointless. Nobody came out to interrupt them. No Cope and Christian, not even the Bucks, who were there. They were there and dressed, and they didn't even interrupt them. So this was just pointless. So I don't really know where we're going right now. I would say the whole triple threat idea for the World Tag Team titles right now is just kind of on ice, because I don't think they wanted to start that tonight. Maybe because it would have overshadowed the whole Darby thing, since again this whole show was pretty much centered around Darby. So they just went out there to just get the World Tag Team Champions on television.
They just got heat on themselves, and that was it.
That was it. There's nothing much more to say about that. Our next match was a TNT Championship defense. Kevin Knight in his first title defense as TNT champion versus Claudio Castagnoli. Now, what has Claudio Castagnoli done to earn a TNT Championship match? I don't know, but I think this was just randomly put together for his first title defense. But here I am skipping ahead again. I believe that after this, or at least what I want after this, give me a story, give me a feud, give me a rivalry that I can actually be invested in for this TNT Championship. Not just these, I can't even really call them open challenges, because that's not what they're calling them. They're just impromptu title defense.
It's just matches.
Yeah. They're just matches. And it's like, okay, the match was fine. The match was good. Claudio, I think, put Knight over like $1 million. It was good. Could it have been better given the talent from these two? Absolutely. But again, it was just kind of the match. It wasn't really anything to rant and rave about. Knight successfully defends his championship. He retains the title here. Again, to me, I think the road to go with, I don't know how you go. I really don't know how you put that together, but just the way that Speedball Mike Bailey was side-eyeing Kevin Knight after Dynasty, and after that gauntlet match at Dynasty, I feel like at least I thought was planting the seeds for a feud with Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight. Tonight, I think all of that kind of just washed away. Again, maybe they didn't want to hint towards anything or start anything more with that, again, because this show was solely centered around Darby Allin. So I don't know, because tonight he was just like the cheerleader. Oh yeah, man, hey, go get him. Yeah, he was all smiling and giving him thumbs up and pointing at him and all this other stuff. There was no subtle side eyes, nothing. He's not like flipping him off behind his back, nothing. So once again, this is another thing I think is on ice until maybe next week or the week after. I don't know how quickly they want to do this, but it's definitely something they should be thinking about. I think that is the route to go. But I'm gonna get you guys' thoughts on Kevin Knight versus Claudio Castagnoli for the TNT Championship. Phil, I'm gonna start with you.
I'm not worried about anything that's realistically going to be happening with Kevin Knight and the TNT Championship until after tonight is over. Like I really wasn't going to be looking towards anything with Kevin Knight until after this show was over, mainly because of how the show was just going to be centered around Darby, like you said. So when I saw that this match was just going to be announced I'm like, all right, this is going to be a nice first title defense for Kevin Knight. And if they're going to be doing anything between Kevin and Speedball, it's going to be after all of this is said and done. And I still believe that's ultimately going to be the case. Speedball and Kevin Knight were put together just so that they could kind of mesh well together for the time being as a tag team until it was just inevitable that they were going to split. And I think it's ultimately the right move to have them split because they are fine as solo acts in and of themselves. But having it be over the TNT Championship is not a bad idea for me because we finally at least get something for the TNT Championship I have been craving for the better part of the last couple of years when it comes down to at least some sort of simple story between two guys that want a championship. So we'll see how it ultimately does unfold, but I wasn't realistically thinking of anything until this show was over for the title.
Fair enough. Mike?
I don't think I've ever seen anybody ever make Claudio look like he was winded. It almost seemed like Claudio had to keep up with Kevin Knight tonight. And Kevin Knight keeping his foot on the gas pedal was awesome. This was a good match. Very, very good match. When I seen this match was being promoted for tonight, I was like, are they about to make Kevin Knight be transitional? Like, you are putting him up against Claudio Castagnoli, a guy who has not had the best of success in AEW, but has had success elsewhere. I mean, he just lost the CMLL championship a month ago. Like, had success everywhere else, or even in Ring of Honor, had success in Ring of Honor. But in AEW, not much. Just been in groups. And that's it. Putting on some decent matches. So I'm thinking maybe tonight's the night where they say Claudio Castagnoli could capture the TNT championship and he's going to do it against Kevin Knight. Because Kevin Knight didn't beat anybody for the championship. He won it while the championship was vacated. So would it have been such a bad idea to make him transitional? Maybe, maybe not. But if he would have lost to a credible pro wrestler in Claudio Castagnoli. But Kevin Knight making Claudio look like he was trying to keep up tonight was amazing. And again, another guy who mentions the World Championship in Kevin Knight. Because after the match, he says, Kevin Knight 2 belts doesn't sound so bad. And he mentioned the World Championship. So, yeah. Good match tonight by these two.
I mean, would it have hurt to make him a transitional champion? I don't know. I don't think I would have cared either way. I wouldn't have had a reaction. They would just be making the TNT championship like the trios titles that have been hot potatoed here recently. I wouldn't have cared either way. That title hasn't had my interest in a long time. So if they give Kevin Knight a decent run, 2 months tops, cool. Do something.
I'll consider that length a quote unquote success for Kevin as TNT champ.
Do something with it. I'm not saying you got to go to the end of the year. I'm not saying you got to go to World's End.
Yeah.
You know, if that's the plan, if that's what they want to do, great, cool. I don't care. I really don't care. The TNT title does not have my interest.
It's his first singles championship ever in any company. So good for him.
Yeah. So good for Kevin Knight. I think he needed this win tonight just to build some momentum with that title. If they want to go the long run, the short run with him, do it. Next we had Don. Oh my gosh, this annoyed me so much. These promos were awful tonight. I mean, they were so bad. Either they dragged on or they were just overly obnoxious. Don Callis had probably one of the most obnoxious intro for Hache Cero of all people. That was just annoying.
He always does this too. He always drags it out for Hache Cero.
Crazy intro for Hache Cero. But our next match was Hache Cero versus Will Ospreay. Again, as I said earlier, Marine Shafir came out and was watching ringside. So again, like I said, I think that's just planting the seeds for more Will Ospreay versus Jon Moxley at some point. This was probably one of my favorite matches. The TNT title match was good. This I think was even better. Hachicero, I mean, he put Will Ospreay through the ringer. And I think there's just it also showcases more so just how good Hachicero is. I'm so like I've seen him on AEW television. We've seen him on AEW television before, but this is just more so a showcase of his ability, which I don't really know a lot about. So fantastic match, I think. One of the best matches I think of the night. And like I said, Ospreay was just battling through this story with. I mean, he's heavily taped up now. Now I think it's like his left shoulder down to like his arm is taped up, and like I said, the neck, the surgically repaired neck is also taped up. So he's just banged up already. And that was easily the story in this match. I mean, that head scissors that he was caught in, that was filthy. I mean, he was dropped on his head or hit in the head multiple times, which I hate seeing. I don't know why we're still doing this, but it was the story for the course of this match. And it was a great match though, to say the least. Like I said, Will Ospreay battles through all of that, all of the injuries and all of the just being banged up, hits a hidden blade and beats Hachicero. I expected nothing less. I didn't expect Hachicero to win this match. And then, of course, his former tag team partner and friend ends up attacking him in Mark Davis. Mark Davis then picks him up and hits a pile driver on Will Ospreay. Again, like I said, I hate seeing this. I don't know why we're doing so many head and neck and shoulder bumps for Will Ospreay when he just came back from a serious neck surgery. I have no idea. I don't know what their obsession with that is, but yeah, I don't know. It's again, it's not my company. I'm not Will Ospreay. It's not my neck that just got surgically repaired. I have no idea why they keep doing that. But yeah, so Mark Davis pile drives Will Ospreay. I don't know where we go with Will Ospreay next. Like I said, I'm assuming they just run back him and Moxley until he beats Moxley, and then we probably move on from there. Again, I still don't believe he needs the Continental Championship. It just serves him no purpose. I don't think he's gonna do anything with it. But I'm gonna get you guys' thoughts on this match and, of course, post-match attack. Mike, I'm gonna start with you.
So, number one, good match. Not a bad match at all. As far as the Will Ospreay thing, it's the sympathy card. That's what they're doing. They're trying to get sympathy on Will Ospreay. Coming back from the neck surgery, every match, the doctor's involved, the referee's stopping the match. They got to check on him. But then what does Will Ospreay do? He pushes the referee away. He pushes the doctor away and says, no, let's keep going. That's them trying to get the sympathy and trying to get the fans pumped up because it's the whole thing. That's the whole thing of it. The problem is Will Ospreay is such a beloved character that he doesn't need that. He doesn't need to do that. Will Ospreay alone, the minute his music hits, that crowd goes nuts. Now, the Seattle crowd tonight was a little, they're a little quiet tonight. They weren't very much on their feet so much.
I agree with you on that, yeah.
It is Everett, Washington. So, I mean, I have never heard of Everett, Washington a day in my life until tonight. So,
yeah, it was a pretty moody there tonight in that stadium, that arena. So, to get that's basically what it is. They're trying to get the sympathy. They're trying to build us up with the sympathy of having the doctor come in and the referee stop the match and then try and get the crowd up. And boost it up because Will Ospreay fighting from underneath. He's got the neck injury, but they're doing it way too fucking much. We've seen it every time he's in the ring since coming back. The first and second time, we get it. Cool. But he's been in the ring how many times since coming back? And they've done it every time.
Pretty much.
I like that they're putting involving the doctor and everything like that. I said it last week. I said I like how the doctor's kind of building into this story a little bit, but now you got the referees kind of building into it. And I get you're trying to look out for the well-being of Will Ospreay. Here's the thing: is Will Ospreay was not able and cleared to be in that ring, then he wouldn't be in the ring. So you aren't going to stop a match and pull him out of the ring unless he is truly, seriously hurt to the point where he should not be going. It's the sympathy card. That's what they're trying to build off of, but they don't need to do it.
There it is. I mean, you said it. Like I said, I don't think they need to do it. And personally, I think at some point, I get it, but at some point, I just feel like it's going to get old. Me personally, I think it's already old.
It's old.
It's already old.
It
was old by the third time they did it.
So they definitely gotta transition and do something else, because that's eventually just going to just get stale, and it's not gonna get a reaction. It's not going to pan out the way they think it is. Cool, you want to do it for now? Whatever. I hate seeing it, but that's just my preference. They don't need to do it. It's just unnecessary.
I don't mind them doing it for like the first or second match that he's been in, because of course they were going to build upon that. You know, this is going to be the story of his career now. You saying like what's realistically going to be the story of his career now? This whole entire neck is going to be the story of his career. Can he hold up? Can he be the Will Ospreay of old now that he is back from this neck? The fact of the matter is, Will Ospreay is going to do whatever he wants to do. And like Mike said, the sympathy card just simply does not work with somebody like Will, because he's already beloved to a point where he doesn't just simply need any of it, because the fans are so loving of him anyway. Like, I don't mind it the first or second time, but you can't do this too much. Otherwise, like you said, Cam, it's just not going to work in the way that they want it to. So it was a fine match. Honestly, probably one of my favorite matches of the night. Yeah. But honestly, they're just doing too much with it. And if they're gonna continue doing this, I'll be like, yeah, it's just Will Ospreay doing his neck thing again. And that's not what you want, especially for somebody like Will Ospreay,
exactly,
who is on track for a world championship maybe down the line in 2026. It's not what you want.
Yeah, not at all. Well, we definitely have to see. I don't know. I just don't see that ending very well. Next up, Tekla and Alex Windsor exchange in probably this year's most annoying promo back and forth I have ever had to sit through ever. This was awful. This was terrible. Like, Tekla is growing on me. She is. I said this last week. This week it was a slight step back. I think she's getting better. I think she's getting better on the mic. I really do. I think her in-ring work is great. I do. But on the mic, it's like it's just so annoying. And tonight was more so of that. And then you bring out Alex Windsor, and it's like, dude, what is happening tonight? Like, what is even going on? You waste all this time, and then at the end of it, all of this was just a time filler just to announce their championship match on Collision, something I'm not even watching.
Collision. Anyway. That's it.
Wow. That's such great television. Woohoo. I'm going to watch Collision now. I'm like, no, I'm not.
For a match on Collision tomorrow night.
This sounded like a musical skit. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like a skit from a musical. The way they were just going back and forth. That's what it sounded like. Like, damn fucking well they rehearsed the shit out of that backstage. Like, you say this, and I say this, and I'll respond to this, but you're going to respond to that. The only funny line was when Tekla said something about, something about dumb bitches coming out, and then she came out. Like, that was the only funny thing. And it wasn't even that remotely funny. It was just like a, kind of thing.
A little chuckle. Yeah.
You got that
fall out of my seat. I'm dying laughing.
I didn't get fired from Japan. Okay, I did get fired from Japan, but
I like that line too. I like that line too.
that was fine. Like, I understood the comedic aspect of that. But this is for a match on Collision. Who cares?
I wanted to get up and dance. The way they were doing it, with it being like a musical type of skit, I wanted to get up and dance, but I couldn't find the rhythm, so I just kept my ass in my seat.
And she legitimately did get fired from Japan. The whole entire thing was legit, and how everything kind of went down for that. So I like how they worked into that, but I mean, it's for a match on Collision. Tekla's going to retain, and that's just it. You guys know how I feel about Tekla. I like her. She's not everybody's cup of tea, and I get that, but this whole entire thing between the two was not it.
I'm just
Especially
surprised.
just for a match on Collision. That's not going to mean anything by Friday.
I'm just surprised that I was able to hear the whole promo because my ears were fucking bleeding when Tekla came out. So just my ears were fucking
Sheer
bleeding.
sight, it doesn't matter.
Like,
I don't know. Like I said, this was a complete waste of my time. I'm not going to care. So, but anyway, moving on. Well, then the next thing I'm not going to care about it either because it was also on Collision. Jon Moxley is facing Nick Wayne in a championship eliminator match. If Nick Wayne beats Jon Moxley, he gets a championship at the Continental Championship.
Who cares?
Apparently, yeah, I don't. Though the only thing I want to mention is the fact that I guess Nick Wayne is coming back off of some extended injury. Now,
hand injury.
Again, this is like the third person who's coming back off injury who I didn't even know they were injured. Queen Aminata, and then who else was it? It was Queen Aminata. It was Kyle O'Reilly at Dynasty, and now Nick Wayne. I didn't know
Sheeta was gone from injury.
No, even like there's so many people that disappear in this company, and then they come back. They've been gone for 365 days.
She was
on
gone
injury.
for years anyway. So like, who knew?
I will say this was the best promo of the night. Best speaking promo of the night.
I can agree with that.
Because Moxley's Moxley, and he's always good.
It was just so well put together, and it made the most sense out of any promo that was talked tonight. The most sense. Like, and then for him to play it off of asking who was Daniel Garcia, hey, who is this kid? Nick Wayne. Yeah, Nick Wayne. The only thing that really kind of threw that off of him saying he acting like he didn't know him was at the end of the promo when he said, leave your mom in the back. Like his mom comes out with him all the time.
Yeah.
Like how, if you don't know the kid, then how do you know his mom comes out to be in his corner? Like that's the only thing that kind of threw it off a little bit. Like you act like you don't know the kid, but yet you know his mom comes out to be in his corner. Okay.
You definitely know who he is.
But it was still the best. Yeah, it was still the best promo of the night. Still well put together and just the setting, everything about it was the best promo of the night.
Yeah, like I said, definitely the best promo of the night. We'll see. We'll see if Nick Wayne beats Jon Moxley. I highly doubt it, but we'll see.
Come on.
Next, the next match we saw Willow Nightingale putting her championship on the line against none other than the returning Camille, who we saw come back on AEW Dynasty 0 Hour. And then, of course, she also later in the evening also attacked Willow Nightingale. And that's how this match got made. So for the TBS Women's Championship, this was good. This was decent. You know, it wasn't the greatest match that I think they could have put on for the TBS Championship. I think they went. I think they went with the right choice here and having Willow Nightingale retain. I'm not really gravitating towards or really feeling her run as TBS champion right now. I'm just not. And that's because, again, much like what they're starting with the TNT title, it's just a bunch of random defenses. There's no feuds. There's just nothing going on. There's nothing exciting going on, and that's unfortunate because I like Willow Nightingale. I really do. I can't say a bad thing about her. I think she's amazing, but they're doing her no favors, just not putting her in any high profile matches at all. So the fact that Camille is back and the fact that we're sitting here talking about Camille being on television, being on our television screens, this is the biggest high profile match that they could have probably put Willow Nightingale in right now, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like it. It just was, oh, it's Spring Breakthrough. Like, who cares? The whole show
other title was going to change hands tonight.
No. And like I said, in the whole who cares? Because the whole show, again, is Darby Allin. So again, I think even that overshadowed this match. You can make this match bigger, but like, just wasn't all that. So
yeah,
I don't know. Willow Nightingale retaining, like I said, I think was just the best decision.
I mean, the other thing too is they called this show Spring Breakthrough, and normally when we see these special shows that are made and everything, they have like a special setting, like the stage setup has like props on it or something like that. Like they usually have like little things that make it give you like that feel of like, oh, this is what this show is the theme of the show. Tonight, it was just, we're going to call it Spring Breakthrough and just have a logo. And that's it. Because, again, this whole night was just based around Darby Allin. So, as far as the match, it was a good match. I'd said to Cam earlier today that I kind of need a little break from Willow Nightingale. I do. I like Willow. She's awesome. I do like what she does. I agree. Her TBS title run has been so stale, and I think what really didn't help it was her being a double champion and really focusing on the women's tag titles, because she focused so much on the women's tag titles and not so much on that TBS championship. And with Camille coming back and getting this match, part of me was like, I need a break from Willow. I wouldn't mind Camille winning this belt. I don't care how long of a run she has. I don't care who she loses it to, whatever. I kind of just needed a little break from Willow Nightingale. And I think they should have a thought process of hitting that reset and maybe have her lose that belt and have her chase in like 2 months. Like maybe on the road to All In the summertime. Have her have a summer chase and build up that momentum again, because her TBS title run had no momentum to it. None whatsoever. She won it from Mercedes at the beginning of the year, but then the sole focus was on those women's tag titles. Lose the women's tag titles, then she diverts her focus right on the TBS title, and it's like ever since then, it's just been open challenges. Like Cam said, no storylines whatsoever. How are you going to make me care about a championship that she's holding and care about her run if you're not going to give me something to care about? So that's why I would have had no problem with her losing the belt tonight, and then have her go on a summer chase and build that momentum up again, and then keep her focus on the TBS title opposed to focusing on something else, including along with that title.
I can agree to an extent. I just think they need to build Camille up again. Like I said, she's just not coming back. Build her up. Like I said, have her dominate. You don't have many options anyways. I don't really think so. Have her dominate. I think I froze again. Okay, anyway.
You did.
You good.
Have her dominate most of the roster, as I was saying. And like I said, just revisit this. I think, that's what I would say do. I really don't know what else you do. And again, right now, I just don't care for it. I think it was the right decision for tonight. Keep the title on her. Do something. Like it's just not working right now because there's just no stories. So, Phil, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm in the exact same boat as you guys. I love Willow Nightingale, but this TNT TBS championship reign, it's just not been lighting the world on fire. I looked up her entire reign so far in terms of her title defenses. She's had 8 title defenses so far, and most of them have either realistically kind of meant nothing because it was on an episode of AEW Dynamite or Collision, or it was kind of just something there, and it sucks because, like you said, Mike, she I believe it was Mike that said it. She defeated Mercedes Moné at the beginning of the year or at the end of last year. You would think that defeating Mercedes Moné would give you that kind of proper momentum to have you at least have somewhat of a solid championship run, go on a couple of feuds, make the championship feel important. Not again, but I mean, continue on the importance of the TBS championship, or at least kind of build upon it. No. And that sucks to even say it. So yeah. I love Willow Nightingale, but it's time for a change. Plain and simple.
Darby Allin was backstage walking with Renee, trying to get his thoughts on the main event for the World Championship. And then we see the return of none other than his former tag team partner and tag team and one half of the tag team champions. Is that in Sting. Like I said, Sting, he looks completely different from the last time we've seen him. Now he's all gray. He's got the beard going now, so he's fully emerged. He's fully emerged in old man Sting now. It looks cool. It's something different, like I said. But of course, he's looking for some kind of words of encouragement from Sting, and Sting's like, no. He's like, you already know what to do. And then Darby, of course, says it's showtime. He says, no, it's your time. So again, hyping up Darby Allin, going out there. Gentlemen, believe it or not, we have reached The main event. The main event saw the World Championship match, the world title being put on the line. Darby Allin taking on MJF for the AEW World Championship. This wasn't very long. Darby
There's
hit,
not
I
much to
think,
talk about here.
Darby hit, I believe, what, three or four coffin drops
all four
back to
corners.
back in quick succession. And I think the last move he did was a headlock takeover, I do believe.
Yep.
The same that MJF has done the previous 2 times they have fought. 1, 2, 3, and believe it or not, your new AEW World Champion is Darby Allin. Gentlemen, I'm going to get your thoughts on this. I'm
gonna let Mike speak first because he's got a lot.
This is gonna be very heated. I could feel it right now. I could feel the heat radiating off of both of the boxes that y'all are sitting at right now. So, Mike, your thoughts on this match?
So first off, I've been saying it for weeks now that I feel like MJF was the best world heavyweight champion in professional wrestling. Yes, before CM Punk. Yes, before Cody Rhodes. And I'm huge fans of CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. I think MJF has been doing phenomenal work, not only to promote himself, but to promote this company in a whole, because you don't see many interviews nor hear many interviews of any other wrestlers from AEW going out and doing what MJF has been doing for the past couple months since being world heavyweight champion. Let me just put that out there right now. And I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of interviews. Okay? And MJF has been doing the work for this company and himself. Tonight, I feel like AEW has immediately backed themselves into a corner. Number one, congratulations, Darby Allin. I'm going to say that. I'm a fan of Darby Allin. But you go back to months ago when he was feuding with Jon Moxley, being put in the perfect position to take a championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, off of Jon Moxley. And then you decide to go climb a fucking mountain. Okay, now I get it. Climbing Mount Everest is a big feat. It's a bigger feat than winning a world championship in professional wrestling, but you could have done it at any fucking time in your life. And it would have been much better, much more exciting, and a lot more fucking acceptable for you to do it against Moxley. Bottom line. But now you come back. You say you want to go for the world title. You have your little feuds with the Death Riders and Gabe Kidd and his goons or whatever. Do what you need to do. You have a great match against Andrade on Sunday. Great match against Andrade. So probably match of the night next to Kenny Omega and MJF on Sunday. And you earn your shot tonight. But now you're world champion. Things were flowing with MJF as the world champion. So many matches could have been set up for the next couple months with MJF as world champion. And this is where I say AEW, I feel like, backed themselves into a corner. Why? Because you had Will Ospreay, who said in the future, I want to go after the world championship. You had Kenny Omega say his dream of going after the world title one more time is not over. And that with Will Ospreay saying, you're my hero. If I'm your hero, then I can't give up. Immediately thinking, okay, we're going to get Kenny Omega and MJF again. You also had Kevin Knight, who's standing there and saying, 2 belts Kevin Knight wants to go after the world championship. Okay? Tommaso Ciampa, probably the only guy in these group of guys that would be a understandable challenger to Darby Allin due to the fact of his character. You're going to try and get me excited for Darby Allin and Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is a god of pro wrestling, a fucking legend, a Hall of Famer anywhere and everywhere he would go and would be. You're going to tell me that Kenny Omega's losing to Darby Allin? No. You're going to make me believe that Will Ospreay isn't going to beat Darby Allin? No. They backed themselves into a corner tonight. Hard. All because they wanted to get a 24-hour headline on WrestleMania week. Good job, Tony. Good job, AEW. Just because we're in Everett, Washington tonight, who gives a shit? Who cares? So hopefully, we see MJF come back in and get a shot at this championship and get this belt back on him, because there's so much potential left on the table with this run. And to pull this trigger tonight just for that 24-hour headline is horseshit. And if that's not your plan, then I hope you have big plans to keep us entertained, because right now, Darby Allin being world champion, again, good on him. He's got it. Finally. Awesome. Bad fucking timing. Bad fucking timing on their part. And I hope, I pray. And I'm not a prayer. I don't believe in that stuff, okay? I pray, though, that they have big plans for this. Because if not, you are going to lose your viewers again. You are going to lose fans who have just come back because they're hearing that AEW is starting to pick up a little bit of steam again. So, Darby, again, congratulations. But good luck, AEW. I really hope. Good luck, Tony. I really hope that you have a way to figure out of getting out of this corner, because I think you fucked yourself right now. Really do think you fucked yourself.
I mean, I don't know. I got nothing really. It's just I don't know, man. I don't understand it. I really don't. I get it. I've seen it, but I'm still not fully grasping it. I'm fully not wrapping my head around it. First of all, I hope MJF never mind the title. I just hope MJF can rebound from this. I mean, this wasn't a match. This was basically a squash from MJF, from freaking Darby Allin of all things.
I mean, how the match went. I mean, how the match goes. Number one, MJF low blows. When MJF hit that low blow, I was like, yes, all right, cool. We might not be pulling this trigger after all. Smart on Max. But then Darby hits it. And once Darby hit that low blow, I was like, this is it. This is it. He's going to win it. If Darby would not have gotten that low blow in, and I think the referee needs to go back and look at that and think and probably reverse this decision, because that's a DQ, which means the title should not have changed. So, but anyways, Darby hitting that low blow, I was like, he's going to hit the coffin drop at least twice, and he hits it 4 fucking times. Hits it 4 times. And after coffin drop number 2, I was like, that's it. This is it. Like, the whole night told us Darby was winning. But then when Sting showed up, that was the guaranteed stamp. That was the stamp of approval that Darby was fucking winning. You're not going to have Sting there in face paint and all just to have Darby Allin lose. No way. Not happening. So, again, I really hope, really hope they have something figured out and planned for this, because I think, as of right now, I feel like they fucked themselves. I do. I feel like it, because of the run that MJF has been having, and there's so much meat on that bone that just it hasn't even been chewed into yet. It's still cooking. And it's still in the oven. Like, again, good on Darby. I'm a fan of him. I mean, I've been a fan of Darby Allin the first minute I laid eyes on the kid and seen him come on my TV. The saying on his chest, nothing's over till you're underground. I mean, that hit personal to me. It's a personal saying for me. So personal, the fact I have it tattooed on my hand. Because when you deal with mental health every day, it's a good reminder that nothing's over till you're underground. You know? So it was a motivation. You know, somebody who's 10, 12 years younger than me, able to motivate me just by a tattoo that's on his chest. Good on the kid. But tonight just was not it. The Jon Moxley time. That was the time. That was the time, the place, set up, perfect, everything. Everything was there. And then you make the personal decision to go climb a fucking mountain. Something you could have done a year from now. Something you could have done in 2 years. Like, Just the timing that's what's bothering me the most. Is the timing. The timing is what's bothering me most.
Double or Nothing is in 6 weeks. I think Darby holds his title for 6 weeks, and I think MJF wins it back.
I hope.
Thank you.
I hope. I hope.
Will it feel the same because of this whole stutter in his reign? That's my biggest fear.
This is not going to mean anything. No, this is not like this is a speed bump. At the end of the day, the fact of the matter is that this match and this whole entire thing is not going to mean anything in the long run because this man is only going to hold the championship for 6 weeks. And I hope everybody knows that because the championship run is not going to last long. If anything, we're going to get MJF back as the AEW World Champion by the time we get to New York in Double or Nothing. This is not going to last long. So hopefully, that's just where we're going with this. When I saw Sting talk with Darby, I knew right then and there. It didn't matter what the match was going to be looking like at that point. It didn't matter what the match is going to be looking like. As soon as I saw Sting talk with Darby, I'm like, the man is winning. Heck, even before all of that, because like we said earlier, so many times in this show, the show was telegraphed and basically telling you Darby's going to win this championship tonight, whether you like it or not. Do I like this decision? No. But I don't even want to tolerate it because I know it's just only going to last 6 weeks.
But they can make something count. They can make something count for 6 weeks.
And they can.
They
but
can.
It's like
what they can do is
the destination to make it happen for.
The thing is MJF is probably going to go away for a couple weeks. He's probably going to go and recover to whatever he's dealing with because it's probably true. He's probably dealing with an injury that he needs to be out of the ring for a couple weeks for. It's probably true. It's just something that we're not knowledgeable on, which do we really need to know? No, we don't need to fucking know everything. We don't. That's the bad part about this sport nowadays. Fans think we need to know everything. We don't. Don't need to fucking know everything. Just let things happen. Just watch. And that's that. So if MJF's hurt, let him go and heal up. Come back. Win the World Championship. Even if it's in 6 weeks at Double or Nothing. They can make this an important 6 weeks for our Darby Allin. They can. It's just all about if they capitalize on it. They got to capitalize on it and make it count.
Look, I've been saying that the man went to go climb a fucking mountain for the longest time when it came down to him being in the World Championship title picture, okay? The man, like the whole entire World Championship run at the time and him winning the World Championship passed his time, okay? It passed him by at that point in time. I knew the man was going to become a world champion in this company. It was only a matter of when, not if, because they were realistically telegraphing you that it was going to be at All In Texas. It was not supposed to be Hangman Adam Page, and I fully believe that. But to me, it doesn't matter if they try to make this as tolerable as possible in the 6 weeks that we have with this, or as memorable as possible in the 6 weeks that we have with this. Just simply wasn't the right time. It simply wasn't the right time.
No.
I understand it was a hometown. It wasn't the right place for me because at the end of the day, I much would have rather had this World Championship win for him be on a bigger stage than just a random episode of AEW Dynamite. And yeah, sure, you can say it's not random because it's a specialty episode of Dynamite like Spring Breakthrough or anything like that, or any other of these specialty episodes of Dynamite or Collision. To me, that doesn't matter. An episode of Dynamite is an episode of Dynamite to me. And when it comes down to it, a bigger stage, like a pay-per-view, one that you should absolutely pay to see Darby Allin finally win the big one, finally win the World Championship, is something that I personally would have much rather see. Now, of course, that didn't happen. And I know it's not everybody's cup of tea to see anybody win a World Championship on a pay-per-view. But this is just for a shock and awe for WrestleMania. It's not going to mean anything. And it's just for 6 weeks.
And if Darby Allin would have faced him at Dynasty opposed to Kenny Omega and won the title, I still feel like we would have felt the way we did tonight.
Fair.
I get it. I get it that a bigger stage pay-per-view or whatever. But again, when you look at what MJF has been doing these past couple months as the world champion, and all of a sudden, even if it was a pay-per-view, I feel like it still would have been the bad timing.
A world title run for me and Darby Allin, it just simply doesn't mix. So no matter where it was going to take place, I'm not for this. And that's just the cold hard truth of the matter.
Can you
imagine if Tommaso Ciampa beats Darby Allin now?
That would be nuts.
First of all, I love Tommaso, so I'd be fine. But
I'll say this. If they were to just so happen to do that, if they were to just so happen have Tommaso Ciampa go and beat Darby Allin for the world championship and take that chance, I would be throwing my hat off to them. Why? Because they're taking the chance. They're not sticking around the same crew of guys that stuck around the world title these past couple years, like a Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, Swerve. Your normal guys that have been around the world title since the beginning of AEW. Now you're starting to spread out and pan out into the deeper parts of your roster, and you have guys on that roster that are world championship worthy. Yes, you got to build them up to it as believability for storyline and everything, but you still have guys on that roster that are world championship worthy. And Tommaso Ciampa, is he one of them? Yes. It's all about taking that chance. And if they were to do that, then what I think they would need to do is clean the slate of anybody mentioning the world championship and just keep the focus on Ciampa and Darby. Don't have Kenny Omega saying, oh, I'm going to go after the world title one more time. Don't have Will Ospreay saying it. Don't have anybody, even Kevin Knight. Don't have anybody else mentioning that world championship. Just Tommaso Ciampa, just Darby Allin. Those are the only two guys that should be splurging out the words World's Heavyweight Championship. Build it around them. Give them as much impact as you can leading up to the match. And I guarantee more people would be invested. More people would have more believability in it. And it would have more of an impact. Darby Allin winning tonight, no impact whatsoever because of what MJF's been doing. Even if Darby Allin won it on a pay-per-view right now, doesn't make an impact because of what MJF's been doing. If he would have won it 6-7 months ago against Jon Moxley, like he was originally, what we believe most likely planned to happen, then it would have made sense. But right now, no. Just for the shock factor, the timing of the year, nobody's going to give a shit about this on Friday. Why? Because it's WrestleMania weekend. And again, WWE's up here. They're up here. They're the be-all, end-all. And they own the week. And it's simple as that. It's bad timing. That's all it is. And I think that's what's the more upsetting thing about this. Because again, a fan of Darby Allin, I believe that he deserves to be a world champion. But the timing right now, just terrible. Terrible timing.
I don't know, gentlemen. Like I said, we are 6 weeks out from Double or Nothing, so we will definitely have to see. I would say probably towards the end of this month, I would say we get a match between Tommaso Ciampa and Darby Allin for the world title. That's my prediction. So we get
be on a Dynamite
towards the end of April. So I don't know. We'll definitely have to see. Could Tommaso take the title off Darby now? Probably or possibly, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what they do here. But again, I'm sticking to my guns and say this is only going to be 6 weeks, and they simply only did this tonight to steal the headline from WrestleMania. But like I said,
MJF wins it back in New York. That's what I'm going with.
No, nobody's going to care. Night one, Saturday night. So we'll see. But that's all I got for you for this very awful night that we just witnessed. For
a little
15,
over an hour. That's better than what we normally do.
Yeah, pretty much. But now it is time to plug yourself. Phil, where can we find you?
TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, PhillyMet _. You type it, you'll find it. I've done a watch along and live stream every single day this week for WrestleMania week. Tomorrow, we're going to be live for both TNA Impact and House of Glory. So that'll start at 8 p.m. tonight, 8 p.m. on Thursday. And, that'll be a good time when that ultimately does happen. Just a lot of live stream, a lot of watch alongs for the rest of the week as we continue to prepare ourselves for WrestleMania this weekend. I put out my WrestleMania predictions video today, so if you guys want to go check that out and support that, that would be greatly appreciated. That's on YouTube. But yeah, just keep it locked on all the socials, and you'll find me live pretty much any day of the rest of the week this week. So there you go.
Definitely keep up with Phil and all of his streams and his watch alongs, especially that House of Glory show. That looks stacked. House of Glory show I think is going to be amazing.
It's pretty much going to be a 4-hour stream because it's back to back. It's 11. It's 9 to 11 and then 11 on. So it'll be a long time. So
that is a stacked card though. So I'm very excited for that as well. Mike, where can we find you?
Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, Metal Mike 714 is where you can find me personally. As far as here on the networks every Monday night after Monday Night Raw with Cam after Monday Night Raw, we're gonna have the fallout from WrestleMania on Monday night. Biggest Raw of the year, obviously. So come join us for that. Also here every Wednesday with these two gentlemen after Dynamite. You can catch me every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with John, and every Sunday morning during the season with Cam at 10:30 a.m. and during the off season at 11 a.m. For the Huddle Hub podcast, twitch.tv/the Huddle Podcast, youtube.com/@the Huddle Pod is where we are live. You can also find us on X, TikTok, and Instagram at the Huddle Hub Pod. I did my 1.0 mock draft yesterday, and I posted the video today, so it is up right now over on all of our social medias at the Huddle Hub Pod. Cam, if you're wondering, Steelers, I took Ty Simpson, quarterback from Alabama, for the Steelers, and for Phil for the Ravens, I have them taking Vega Ione, offensive guard from Penn State. That was without trades. I'm going to be doing another one with trades, so keep an eye out for that video. I will be live Sunday morning doing a live with trades mock draft, but then I'm going to do a recorded one. And then me and John on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. we'll be doing our together mock draft. He's going to be picking for the NFC teams. I'm going to be picking for the AFC teams. So come join us for that, and follow us on all of our social medias and check out all of our content that we have right now.
Definitely keep up with Mike, especially on the Huddle Hub. I mean, this man knows a lot more about sports than I do, for sure. He's like a freaking encyclopedia. It's crazy. I just try to keep up with him. I just try not to make myself look goofy. So yeah, it's crazy. In terms of moi, find me right here every single Wednesday night with these two gentlemen after AEW Dynamite, reviewing another AEW Dynamite, of course. And then, like I said, it's WrestleMania week. So we got a lot of wrestling going on throughout the rest of the week. I'll be making my WrestleMania Night 1, Night 2 predictions probably tomorrow. So stay tuned for that video on my TikTok, which, again, follow me on there at Cam's Wrestling Corner, where I post my predictions, reviews, and, of course, my wrestling opinion. And then keep with me on Instagram. I'm going to be probably posting some more on there as well. Probably reposting my predictions for WrestleMania on there as well. So stay tuned for that as well. And then, of course, on Monday nights with me and Metalcore Mike after Monday Night Raw, of course, the biggest Monday Night Raw, the Raw after Mania, coming up next Monday. So stay tuned for that as well. And very, very excited for that. I'm curious to see what they have planned for that as well.
Yep.
And that is all I got for you guys this week. Again, love and appreciate all you guys coming by and checking out the stream tonight. And as I always say at the end of every stream, love, peace, and prosperity. And we are out.
Thank you.